So previously we ran our first bot, but previously we cannot able to see what actually doing the agent was doing, right? So what we have done now is we added this one more logging config. So for that I have to import the logging library, import logging, and then I'm telling the logging basic config is info log. So it means any logs printed by the microbots library itself will be printed on the console. So let's run the bot right now and see what happens. Python my first agent.py. Yes, you can see the log from the microbot. It is creating the directory here that is going to be the working directory for the Docker for the agent, and then it is mounting the workspace into the agent read-only workspace. Then it is creating the container. As I told you, Microbots is very secure. It is actually creating a container, mounting the code base into as a read-only mount. So your code base, the code under the buggy program.py will not be affected or modified by the agent itself. And then it is setting up an overlay mount. These are all internals of Microbots. The agent may have to do some changes. For that, it is creating overlay mount. We'll see about it in future videos. So step 1. So agent is thinking, I need to analyze the buggy program.py file, identify the bug. First I will check if the file exists and read its content. So it is checking whether, okay, it is running this command ls-l and work directory agent workspace. So the output is going to be buggy program.py. So this is what Microbot has given. I will explain this in a moment. And step 2, I can see the program file exists and size 31 bytes. Now I need to read the content of the file and identify the bug. It is running the command cat on the file. So the output of the file is being printed in the command output. But for some reason there is no output, it is very empty. So the LLM says the file content is empty, which is unexpected. I will check if there is any hidden content. This is weird. Okay, there is the content, but LLM cannot able to read the content. Buggy program.py contains simple print. So it is running hex dump of the file.py. So cat failed. So it is running the hex dump of the py file, and it is getting some hex dump out of this. Okay, contains simple print statement. So that is the reason it thinks this file is not having any bug. Okay, it is a buggy program, but it is not recognizing there is a missing close bracket. The main problem here is the cat command didn't work, and agent has to use hex dump to understand the file. So it cannot able to recognize it is missed out the close bracket for some reason. Let's see why the cat command is not working. Let's cat agent workspace and buggy program. It's not empty, but it is coming in the last line. For some reason Microbot is not capturing. So let's add empty lines after this. Let me run the cat command. So now the content is coming like this. Okay, let's rerun the bot with this Python my first agent.py. Let's see whether the cat command works this time. So started the container once again. Overlay mount is set. Okay, same thing. It is trying to see what are the files present inside the agent workspace. Okay, the file is found. Now it is going to run the cat command. Okay, this time the output has been printed. So the cat command worked successfully, and LLM didn't use the hexdump command. It simply identified the bug here itself. Let's see. I analyzed the buggy program.py file and identified the bug. The code is missing a closing parenthesis. Clear? Yes, this is what we expected, right? LLM identified that, and previous log can able to see a thing it is not there. So for some reason, when there was no trailing new lines after then the file it has to be edited, Microbot is not giving the full content. This may be a bug. I will just put that into the Git repo. Let the people work on that. So for our side it is very clear, right? So you created your agent in just hardly 17 lines of code. Most of them are boilerplate. This is the bot creation, the agent creation. We are telling what model it is going to use and which folder it is going to work upon, and then what is the task for the agent to do and the timeout. Pretty simple, right? That's why I said Microbot is very easy to learn and understand and onboard onto. So I will explain what actually happens inside Microbot. So Microbot is actually creating a React loop. So what we usually do is we go to ChatGPT, we copy or we ask some question like, For example, I want to debug this particular program in ChatGPT. So what we usually do, we copy the code, we go to the ChatGPT, we paste the code in the chat window and then ask ChatGPT what is the problem in this code, right? And if it is straightforward something like this, it will immediately answer that. But if there is a full folder, like you don't know, there is a compilation bug which is across multiple files, we don't know which file is actually having the problem, so we cannot copy the entire code base and put it in the chat window, right? So in those scenarios, we will tell I'm getting this, I will copy only the error, I will tell ChatGPT I'm getting this error while compiling this particular so and so code. Now you tell me what I should do next. So the ChatGPT will say you run this command and get the content of this particular file, so and so it will tell, right? I will copy that command, I will execute that in the bash prompt and some output will come, right? I will copy this output and give back to ChatGPT. Now ChatGPT will analyze, it will upload its context, it will again say okay, I understand the problem, now go to the other file and get me the content of that file. I will come back, run the code on the bash, get the output, give it back to ChatGPT. So I'll keep on doing this, right? This human ChatGPT to bash copy is actually handled by Microbots itself. So any agent library is doing that only. So the agent here, the LLM wants to run this command. An agent can able to parse its output. The Microbot library can able to parse its output and execute that output into the console and got the output. This is the output here. So this is the command output and package that into HTTP message, sent it back to LLM. Now LLM will send another command. Now LLM wants to read the content of the file. It is giving this command. Once again Microbot understands the command. It runs the command into the bash, collects the output, packages that into a HTTP post request, giving it back to the LLM. So this loop keep on happening until LLM finally identifies the problem. Once LLM identifies the problem, you can see LLM's final output. It can mention the task is completed. LLM will say the task done object it is setting to true. In the previous messages, if you see, task done is set to false. Here it is false. In the first message, task done, here it is false. But here it is task done is true. So it means LLM tells the Microbots library that the task is completed. So you can finally print whatever is there in my thought and you can close the agent loop. That's what is happening. Hope this is intuitive. You try it out yourself. If you face any problem while running this code, if you have some doubts on what is actually happening in the background, you have some problem in installing the Olama or creating the VMs, feel free to ask me in the comment. I'm very happy to help you. And in the next video, so in this current video, we only analyzed the bug, right? We didn't actually fix the bug. In the next video, we will take the output, we'll create another agent, we'll give the output of this agent to that agent and ask the other agent to fix the problem. Let's see in the next video.